Hello, everybody, and welcome to the HireMyVA Team and Business Building Podcast, where we help you to reclaim your freedom through hiring and thriving with virtual assistants without breaking the bank. That means you are a bank. Hey, I'm Dave Braun. I'm here with my partner, fantastic, amazing business mentor and coach, but more importantly, he's a great friend of mine, Larry Broughton. Larry, tell us how you're doing today.
Hello, handsome Dave. I'm great. I'll be
Well,
honest with you. Yeah. Well, it started out, it was like a lot of us, boy. Even though you do a morning routine, things got derailed pretty quickly.
Well, think about what it would be like without the morning routine.
Oh my, yeah, I probably, yeah,
be derailed farther.
Yeah, that's right. But I'm back on track. I'm feeling good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Looking forward to a good podcast.
Yeah, well, here we are again. And in fact, this is going to be part 2 of our 3-part series.
Yes, thanks.
Where we're answering this question is, how do I recognize team members?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the 3 parts of this. Now we're in part 2.
Right.
The first part was episode 76, which was the previous one, because this is going to be 77. Amazing how that works.
What's the next one, David?
70. We should change that up. It's going to be 77.1259.
Oh gosh, no, please no. Please
Okay.
no.
Anyway,
says the engineer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Overly complicated.
So this is so the last one was episode 76, right?
Yes.
So we talked about the different ways to do this, to reward and recognize team members, right? We talked about MITRE. I don't know if you remember that acronym of how to think through maybe different ways to reward. So we talked about number 1 was money. Now, then the next is information. So the I is information, the T is time, the E is energy, and the 5th one, R, is relationships and reputation. Yeah. So we went through a whole bunch of different ways in that episode. So I recommend you guys going back and listening to that. You can still listen to this one, of course, but go back to that one and listen to that. And then, of course, when the next one comes out, listen to that. Part 3.
Right. And we'll put a link in the description of this to that episode, that first episode. There's a lot of great information in there. So I do encourage you to go back and take a listen to that.
So we're going to figure out the best way for a particular team member in this episode, give you a few hints on how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So now how do you figure out the best way to reward a particular team member? Well, we talked about this a little bit in episode 68. In fact, we went into a lot of detail. So you can go back there.
Yeah.
But we think that this is important. It's part of the series. It all fits together.
Sure.
And so it's great to bring it up in another episode. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to start this off, Larry, or you want me to?
Well, we could end this with 2 words.
I know.
But we can explain it, right? I think the best way to find out, Dave, is just to freaking ask them.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, it blows my mind, Dave, that we as managers and leaders sometimes make wild assumptions, but we don't just ask. And this is not just a great message for us about when we're leading and managing teams, but just in relationships. At the end of the day, we are in relationships, right? I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and the guy was just talking about how he and his bride, his wife, are transforming their relationship. And how are they doing that? Well, they're treating each other like adults. They're not making assumptions about the other person. And if I bring this up, I'm going to hurt their feelings. And I don't want to hurt their feelings. I know it's shocking, Dave.
Treat each other like adults? Wow, what a novel concept.
But most of us don't. I am guilty of this in past relationships. They can't handle the truth. And so I'm going to protect them from the truth, which is basically lying, right? Let's give our spouses, let's give our team members more credit. Let's just ask them.
Yeah.
Right? And I've used this example oftentimes, how I've made mistakes. Listen, I know, Dave, that you think that I can walk on water when it comes to leading teams. But I make you're shocked. I know.
Oh,
but I know. Take a knee. You have the vapors. I'm crushing you today. I've made mistakes on this, and a good example I oftentimes use is I tried to recognize a female team member publicly one time in front of a bunch of people, and it crushed her. Like our relationship was damaged. Like she felt betrayed because she hates public recognition, right? And so sometimes we just have to know. We may assume that somebody, because like me, for instance, you'll be shocked at this, I like public praise. I'm a words of affirmation person.
Shocking me like crazy this
I
episode.
know.
Larry.
If someone says to you, Larry, man, I love the way you do this, man, that was transformational for me. And boy, what a positive impact you're on the team. I'd be walking on cloud nine, right? Yes, I do enjoy money, but I would rather take that on a regular basis than if somebody give me a $5 or $20 gift card. All right. I'll take the public accolades every day of the week over the gift cards, right? Other people love the gift cards kind of thing, right? So let's ask our team members, Dave. And I think that another way to get a clue into this, because it's hard to ask everybody, right? That's on your team, is by doing some of these assessments that we've talked about before. Because you'll get insight if you've given a Colby assessment, or you've given the Gallup or the Clifton Strengths Finders, or even the 5 love languages or the 5 appreciation languages in the workplace that Gary Chapman puts out. You'll have a really great idea of it. But
I was going to say, and that's a great time to do it. When you're going, say you're going over those, if you're going to give somebody a Strengths Finders assessment or the Colby assessment, the 5 love languages, as a leader, you need to make sure you sit with them and go through it with them, right? And maybe dissect it a little bit. And that would be a great time to ask them that question.
Well, when I was doing most of the interviewing in our organization, our hotel organization, I would ask them during the interview process.
Okay, yeah.
Is it going to have a huge impact on whether I hire them or not? No, but it's getting to know them.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
It's just a getting to know them kind of thing. Why not find out then? And, you're taking notes, you're making mental notes about it. If you do bring them on board, you'll know,
and I think you brought up a great point about relationships. I mean, these are relationships. And,
yes, they are.
When I take a walk with Cheryl sometimes, in the evening, and we're debriefing our day and she talks about a problem. And when I'm smart on this, which isn't all the time, is I'll say, well, are you just talking about it, or do you want me to give you some solutions or possible solutions? Yeah. And she'll tell me. But the important point is I'm asking her, what she wants me to do. Yes. Right? Because sometimes I'm clueless. And in fact, when it comes with the relationships with our team members, there's times when we could be clueless as well, especially when you're making an assumption that, letting them take the point or the lead with a new client, for example.
Sure.
You're thinking, oh, that's a reward. That's the next step in their evolution, so to speak, as a team member. Or maybe they want to run their own business someday. Well, they're going to have to go through this. Yeah. So, but it might be like they might just be totally scared. But and then at that point, you have to have the conversation with them. Hey, we're doing this because it is the next step, and you becoming a more valuable team member. You really need to do this.
Yeah.
But that's different than rewarding them, right?
Yeah, well, we're talking about recognizing them, and I'm assuming it's recognizing them for a job well done, right?
Yes.
And so giving them choices, I think oftentimes gives, and again, in any relationship, gives them a feeling of empowerment. Like, wow, I've actually got a say in this. Yeah. So you can give them an either or. Another story I've oftentimes shared with folks is that at my former organization years ago, when I was living in San Francisco, it was time to do an annual review with this director of sales for one of the hotels, and she didn't want a financial raise.
Oh, okay.
She wanted more time off.
Yeah.
Good. Right. That was important for her. Right. And that actually worked better for the organization as well, financially. Right. So it might be that, or give them a choice. Hey, I've heard you talk about wanting to get more training in this particular area. How about if we sponsor you or pay your way through this particular course or program?
Yeah.
Right? That might be something. So sometimes you just have to walk them down the path and give them ideas, right? So it might be public praise for some. It might be a financial bonus for someone else. It might be professional development for somebody else.
Yeah, and be creative. I was just listening to a podcast the other day. Hey, we listen to a lot of podcasts. We learn stuff.
We do.
And they were talking about how do you get people to like save for their retirement? Well, maybe you can offer something to where, you know, the raise or that bonus, you say, well, would you rather have that go into, you know, a college fund you're saving up for your kids?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So be creative. There's all kinds of different ways that you can do it that might resonate the most with your particular team member, depending upon where they are in their life and what's most important to them.
Yeah, there's the obvious ones too, Dave, about you know, your team members of the month or quarter or year, those types of things. Because there are some people who like to have that plaque on the wall or the trophy on their bookshelf. You know, so there's those types of things as well. But just again, I would encourage people, let's ask, talk to people, get people together, you know, learn what's important to them. And it won't just benefit you in this one specific area, but by building the relationship, you'll find that you'll have this emotional well that you can tap into. And we might be talking about that on a future episode as well. But I like what you had said earlier about one way to recognize or quote unquote reward a team member for a job well done is expanding their role with a particular client, right? I love that idea because it not only helps them, because as we know, I talk about this all the time, based on Gallup's State of the American Workforce Survey, is that one of the primary reasons people leave their jobs or leave their employment is they don't feel like they're being professionally developed.
Right.
By you investing trust into them by taking on a larger role, not only are you're not only helping them professionally, but you're helping the organization as well.
Yeah.
Right. So I love that. That was a great reminder, Dave. Thanks. Thanks for that.
Yeah. And I think if you're going to be doing some of those things, it may be a stretch for your team members. In fact, whatever you're rewarding them with, definitely could be a stretch for them. Mm-hmm. So you've got to take the, what do you call it? The reprisal of potential failure out of the equation, because that might be what they're really, really worried about. So you got to take that away if you're going to stretch them. Yeah. But that's a whole nother podcast that we can do, right? The fear of failure and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I would love to hear what you folks, the listener or the viewer, have done to recognize team members for a job well done. Does any of this resonate with you? Here's one that would be even more interesting. Have you made a mistake in this area like I did, you know, where you've tried to recognize a team member or your team and it's backfired on you? Because sometimes we learn more by mistakes that we've made than we do from the successes that we've had, right? So I'd love to hear that one too.
Yeah, folks, go ahead and share that in the comments below. Definitely give us a thumbs up for this episode. Oh, is there anything else, Larry, on this one?
No, I think this is pretty good. I think let's wrap this thing up. Let's bring it on home.
All right. Sounds awesome. Well, thank you, folks, for joining us today. And remember, building a team is the way to reclaim your freedom. And we're here to help you. So 3 things we'd love for you to do, and we'd really, really appreciate it right now. Subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already done so. And that means YouTube or Apple or, you know, whatever phone you're using. Subscribe, right? And then number 2 is give us a rating, and we'd love 5 stars, but give us a rating. Any rating is great. Leave a comment below this video if you've already given us a rating. Give us a thumbs up, anything to help us get the word out. We'd love to engage with you here on YouTube or wherever. And then number 3 is go to HireMyVA.com for more information on our course and community. Because remember, even without experience, you'll learn how to prepare for, hire, and thrive with virtual assistants. Larry and I, we've helped a lot of folks. We're having great Q&A calls in our community, and we'd love to see you on those, and because we want to help you get freedom in your life. So just go to HireMyVA.com for more information.
Yeah, Dave, you'd mentioned the word community a couple times on here. So if you're part of our HireMyVA program or our Victory program, go to those communities. It's a really powerful, because there is a place where you can build relationships. You can ask questions a little bit more discreetly and confidentially than you can by putting a public comment on here as well. But I'm going to encourage you to remember the lone wolf myth is it's a myth. It's a lie. Okay, we can't get through life on our own. Build relationships with people. Find a traveling companion to go on this journey with. I'm blessed that I've got Dave and a couple of other guys who are my traveling companions through life. Find folks like that, because chasing success will leave you empty. But instead, I want you to live a life of significance. Okay. So go do something significant today. God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. All right, my friends, go get them.
Bye, everybody.